group project from hell. We all know it. There's always that one kid who takes over. No discussion, no debate, no democracy. Total control freak vibes. Now let's flip it. We've also been a part of those group projects where, let's face it, no one takes control. Everyone's ghosting everyone in the group chats. Deadlines? Missed. Chaos turned to the max. That was America in 1787. The Articles of Confederation, our first government, were straight up vibes, but no structure, no power to tax, no chill, 13 states doing whatever they want like a Fortnite squad with no mic communication. So the founders pulled up to Philly in the dead heat of summer wearing a wig and a coat like this and probably sweating bullets. And they were like, we need something stronger. And so boom, enter Federalists and Anti-Federalists, a political remix battle that shaped the country. And guess what? It's still playing out today in Congress, on Twitter, in school board meetings. So let's get it. Segment 1, the founding feud. Federalists versus Anti-Feds. Before red versus blue, before Democrats versus Republicans, the Articles of Confederation were straight chaos. No executive, no power to tax the states, no power to enforce laws on the states. It was like a group project where everyone was on do not disturb, and the only role is figure it out on your own. So the Constitutional Convention got to work, and two squads emerged. First up, Team Federalist. Slogan, strong government, strong nation. So let's break it down like it's a character draft. James Madison, the brainiac. Introvert, quiet, doesn't talk much in the group chat. But when he drops something, it's elite. Walk in, Federalist 10. He even designed the U.S. Constitution, modeled it after Montesquieu's separation of powers and limited gov. He's all about logic. Next up, Alexander Hamilton for the Federalist team, the Federalist squad. He's passionate. He's a loudmouth. He argues. He fights. He thinks in essays. He is chaos, main character energy in every room he goes into. The guy who says, I'll do it myself, and then turns in 51 essays and roasts the haters on Founders Talk. And then also next up, John Jay, the lawyer of the group. Legal precision, the keeper of receipts, but when he gets sick, he ends up only writing 5 of the Federalist essays. And the last one here, George Washington. Quiet power, didn't write essays, didn't debate in public, but everyone listened when he stood up. Ultimate respect. This guy was a face card that was never declined. All right, so their strong beliefs here, they believed in a strong national government, and it was necessary to solve national problems. So strong national government to solve national problems. They thought checks and balances would prevent abuse of power. And if we were to separate our branches, it would prevent an abuse of power. They said liberty can't survive in chaos. You need some order and structure to allow liberty to flourish and grow. Now let's head on to the Anti-Federalists. Their slogan, local power or bust. So let's run down the list here. George Mason, the no-nonsense watchdog, walked out of the convention like, nah, fam, where's the Bill of Rights? I need a receipt of our natural rights, and that way I know they're protected before I sign. Next up, Patrick Henry, the drama king, fire speeches. He gave the speech, give me liberty or give me death. That's his Instagram bio. Didn't trust government at all, ever. Enter the Federalist farmer, most likely Richard Henry Lee. Not really quite sure, a lot of debate there. But he wrote an essay or a letter that he put into the newspaper discussing his fears of a new, strong, centralized government. Samuel Adams, next up, local legend, liberty over everything. He's the guy who shows up to every town hall meeting, every protest, and every bar debate about taxes. True sons of liberty, true patriot. And then you have Robert Yates. Now, he's the guy we think wrote Brutus 1, the Anti-Federalists document that is concerned about a strong central government. Their fears that the elites would control the nation, that a large republic would be disconnected from its people, that representatives would be too far away to know what their people wanted. They also demanded a Bill of Rights be included in this Constitution to protect our personal freedoms, our natural rights, our civil liberties. They also thought that this new necessary and proper clause that was going to be added to the Constitution gives Congress, this new Congress, too much power. All right, so let's head on. Instead of the Disney musical, that Broadway musical, Hamilton, instead of Burr versus Hamilton, let's do Madison versus Brutus. All right, so let's get it. First up, Federalist 10, Madison versus the mischief of factions. James Madison, writing as Publius, another Roman name there, he saw factions, groups of people united by passion and self-interest, as the real enemy. And here's an exact quote: "The latent causes of factions are thus shown in the nature of man." Translation: humans love forming cliques. That's fact. It's in our DNA, whether it's political parties, fan bases, fan armies, or niche Discord servers. We can't stop factions without destroying freedom. Here's another quote: "Liberty is to faction as air is to fire." Translation: if you want liberty, you have to deal with factions. But too much unregulated liberty, that's gas on fire. Also, that's not good. So his solution: not to eliminate factions, the air. That's impossible. Instead, control their effects by expanding the sphere and creating a large, diverse republic with many states and many different groups. Expand the sphere. Bring in lots of parties and factions and dilute it. So translation: in the republic, if the republic is big and diverse, not one single majority faction can dominate the rest. And it protects those factions from being abused and dominated. All right, so big idea here for this document. A big republic is pluralism. The more groups and interests you have, the harder it is for one loud group to hijack the whole system. So let's do an AP connection here. Pluralist democracy, Madison's vision is textbook pluralism. Many voices, balanced through competition amongst them, policy made through negotiation and compromise. That big C word, compromise, so important in our system. All right, let's bump on to segment 3, Brutus 1. Big republic, bigger problems. Now slide the mic over to Brutus, possibly Robert Yates. He's reading Madison's Federalist 10 and saying, cute theory, bro. Here's a quote, direct quote. "This government is to possess absolute and uncontrollable power, a legislative, executive, and judicial." Translation: the Constitution gives the national government way too much juice. And the supremacy clause, which we'll talk about, and necessary and proper clauses, which we'll talk about, are basically cheat codes for this new federal government and allowing them to overreach and step on state rights. So quote here, the public good is sacrificed to 1,000 views. The public good is sacrificed to 1,000 views. Translation: in a huge country, reps won't understand their people, their constituents. You become just another username in a sea of notifications. They don't know you. And here's another quote: "Is it impossible that the people of the United States should have sufficient knowledge of their representatives?" So translation here: you'll never know your rep personally. You'll never know them, and they'll never know you. That's not democracy, guys. That's ghost governance. And that's when people get abused. Know your people who you elect. So AP connection here, participatory democracy. That's Brutus. Brutus believed in keeping power local and keeping power broad involvement. Small systems, representatives who actually live near you, near the people that elected them, and understand what you desire. All right, so let's bump it to segment 4. The Federalist Farmer versus A. Ham, Alexander Hamilton. Balance or bust? Now let's talk about the founding father who didn't yell, didn't rage, tweet, and didn't ghost the group chat, but definitely read the fine print. Richard Henry Lee, writing as Federalist Farmer, wasn't here for all the smoke. He was spitting fire like Patrick Henry. He wasn't spitting fire like Patrick Henry or Brutus. His vibe, calm, cautious. Think of him as the guy in your class who color codes every note and shows up with a binder full of receipts. Lee respected the need for a strong system, but he was deeply concerned that the Constitution concentrated way too much power in the hands of the national government, especially the legislative branch, the Congress. His biggest red flags: the size of the republic was too large for genuine representation. The Federalist government could steamroll state governments. It had a lot of vague language like the necessary and proper clause, which gives Congress, the new Congress, the power to expand its power into other areas. It's almost like unlimited power. And the real kicker, there was no Bill of Rights to protect your individual freedoms, your civil liberties, your freedoms of, and your civil rights, your freedoms from. To Lee's centralized power without a written guarantee of liberty equaled disaster waiting to happen. He believed a functioning democracy needed balance between a national and state governments. And without clear protections, ordinary people would get lost in the shuffle while the elites played power games and made back office deals. So Alexander Hamilton, A. Ham, was out here hyping up national supremacy like a political rock star. Henry Lee was the quiet realist saying, "That's cool, bro, but where's the user manual? If we need an exit plan, where is it?" All right, segment 5, constitutional glow up. The Bill of Rights. So who won? Technically, the Federalists. The Constitution passed, but then came the glow up. Think of the Bill of Rights as the first iOS update after launch. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of press and assembly, trial by jury, protection from cruel and unusual punishment. All added like patches after the user reviews came in hot. Why? Because the Anti-Federalists, or the pro-Republicans, would not stop tweeting about it. Okay, I mean writing essays and posting them in newspapers, but you get the idea. So the first Congress added the Bill of Rights to shut down the backlash and secure ratification for this new governing document. All right, so mic drop moment, 10 amendments, 10 promises, 10 receipts that say, we heard you. Here's your liberty. What about you? Every protest, every Supreme Court decision, every debate about school lunches or TikTok bans or Supreme Court term limits, it's all part of the same battle Madison and Brutus and the Federalist Farmer were fighting way back when. Do you trust a big system to keep things fair? Or do you want decisions made closer to home so we can watch and see what's really going on? Are you a Madison banking on balance in a big system? A Brutus demanding caution tape and local control? Or a federal farmer just wanting detailed policies and the receipts of what's actually going to happen? Either way, remember this. You're not just living in democracy, you're building it. So stay bold. Mr. H out. Peace.